Today, I am proud to create him Prince of Wales. With Catherine beside him, our new Prince and Princess of Wales will, I know, continue to inspire and lead our national conversations, helping to bring the marginal to the center ground.
Rumors from inside the palace have pointed to a moment that reportedly left even senior aides unsettled. Princess Anne stepped in just as King Charles III was seen lowering himself before Catherine, Princess of Wales, with Queen Camilla notably edged out of the exchange. It wasn't loud or public, but those who claim to have witnessed it say the shift was impossible to ignore. Why would Anne choose that moment to intervene? And what exactly was happening between Charles and Catherine that made it necessary? Join us as we look into what's going on within the palace walls. The public humiliation Princess Anne allegedly delivered. Everything fell apart right in front of the crowd. This was meant to be a boring, professional meeting between two senior royals, but it ended up being the biggest fight of the year. Several British news outlets say Princess Anne, who basically lives to follow rules, had to jump in. She stopped Queen Camilla from trashing royal protocol while the cameras were recording the whole thing. The funniest part of the mess is that the rest of the family was told there wouldn't be any cameras there at all. The 2026 Fox News report on the royal family highlights a subtle but sharp exchange between Camilla and Anne at a University of London event. At 77, Camilla attempted to project a humble image by offering to let Anne enter the room first, yet the 74-year-old Princess Royal refused to play along. Anne remains a rigid traditionalist who views royal protocol as a non-negotiable hierarchy where the Queen must always lead. Her refusal to move suggests that no amount of modern PR maneuvering will convince her to abandon centuries of tradition just for a convenient photo op. It is truly heartening to see that even in their 70s, these people still find the energy to turn a doorway into a strategic battlefield for the sake of appearances. To a normal person, it was just a tiny hesitation at a doorway. To the royals obsessed, it was a total power move. Anne basically reminded the Queen consort who actually knows the rules. It isn't Camilla, and it isn't Charles. Anne does more actual work than anyone else in that family. She has been quietly keeping the entire operation from collapsing while the king deals with cancer. This stunt was just her way of drawing a hard line in the sand for everyone to see. Nothing says family bonding like a public reminder of exactly where you sit in the pecking order. Internet weirdos who track every royal movement lost their minds over the footage. A few people called the move classy. Most people just saw it as a cold-blooded shutdown. Either way, Anne made her point. The relationship between Camilla and the Princess Royal took a permanent turn for the worse after that. Rumors are swirling that this wasn't just a random awkward moment. It was a calculated move to start a much bigger fight. According to people on the inside, everything that followed has totally flipped the power structure at Buckingham Palace. Royal experts pointed out that photographer Arthur Edwards caught the whole thing. The photo of Anne stepping back to let Camilla go first blew up on Twitter in just a few hours. People who analyze body language told the tabloids that Camilla's smile looked stiff and awkward. Anne looked the opposite. She seemed totally chill and almost like she was having a good time. She managed to put Camilla in her place without saying anything mean at all. But many people think that awkward moment was not just about manners or who went first. Could it be another sign of a problem between them that has lasted for years? The secret tension between Anne and Camilla. Nobody talks about. On the outside, Princess Anne and Queen Camilla act like they get along just fine. They show up at funerals together and do the usual charity events. Every official report says they are best friends. But behind the scenes, people who study the royals say things are a lot more messy. There is a lot of tension there. It's built on decades of backstabbing, lies, and people not trusting each other. Before she got the crown, Camilla was married to Andrew Parker Bowles for over 2 decades. But back in the late 60s, Andrew was actually Princess Anne's first real boyfriend. They were a serious couple. Then Camilla showed up and married Andrew in 1973. While that was happening, she started her long-term thing with Charles. We all know how that ended. It eventually trashed Princess Diana's marriage years later. Royal watchers have known for ages that Anne isn't the type to forgive and forget. She hasn't moved on from Camilla stealing her guy, the cheating with Charles, or the mess it made for Diana. Despite the drama, Anne and Diana actually liked each other. The word from the palace is that Anne has a memory like a vault. If you get on her bad side, you're basically a ghost to her for the rest of your life. Even E! News reported in 2024 that Anne, despite supporting Camilla in the BBC documentary Charles III, The Coronation Year, noted that the role of Queen Consort was not something Camilla would have been a natural for. On its face, the comment sounded supportive, but to seasoned royal watchers it was a backhanded observation, allegedly hidden inside diplomatic language. Anne, they said, was reminding the public that Camilla was an outsider who had been forced into a role she was never raised for, and that she, Anne, knew it. The feelings of anger and jealousy, according to sources, came to light when Charles's health started to get worse. As the king struggled to handle the family's issues, Camilla's position in the palace became shaky. Anne, it seems, noticed this chance, and what she allegedly did with that opening is what shocked the royal household to its core. The quiet coup inside the palace. By late 2024 and into 2025, while Charles was fighting cancer behind closed doors, the family started moving jobs around faster than they had since the Queen died. Behind the scenes, the big decisions, like who gets to speak for the king or handle the tricky diplomatic trips, started skipping Camilla entirely. The person actually calling the shots was Princess Anne. She wasn't asking for permission. She was just taking over. It's pretty funny that while everyone else was arguing about titles, Anne just quietly walked in and took the keys to the kingdom. She didn't need a crown to run the place. She just needed a calendar and a complete lack of patience for anyone else's excuses. By 2025, Anne was basically doing all the heavy lifting for the entire family. She was hitting hundreds of events and taking on a workload that would have probably killed people half her age. While the public watched Camilla bail on her schedule because of things like that chest infection in late 2024, Anne just kept showing up. She did it without making a scene or needing a parade. Everyone knows the king can't really lead from the front anymore, and he seems perfectly happy to let his sister fix everything behind the scenes. By early 2026, it was pretty obvious who was actually running the show. Camilla was doing less and less, thanks to being sick, tired, and losing the support of the people around her. Meanwhile, Anne was popping up everywhere. You couldn't look at a ceremony, a university, or a trip abroad without seeing her there. The palace won't say it out loud, but it's clear a power change happened behind the scenes, and Camilla definitely wasn't the one winning. People who watched the royals were calling this a soft coup. It wasn't some dramatic movie scene. It was just a slow, very British way of making someone irrelevant. Camilla wasn't getting fired. She was being pushed out one event at a time. Eventually, the palace just didn't really need her anymore. While Camilla's role was getting smaller, Anne was moving into a spot that a Princess of Wales hadn't held in decades. Insiders say Anne was smart about it. She didn't leak stories or start a media war like Harry and Meghan. She just worked harder than Camilla. Eventually, everyone, the press, the public, and the family realized the obvious. The real face of the monarchy wasn't the Queen, it was Anne. But many people think that awkward moment was not just about manners or who went first. Could it be another sign of a problem between them that has lasted for years? The day the king allegedly knelt before Catherine. The latest rumor mill says King Charles actually got emotional and bowed down to Catherine in private. Apparently, he's feeling the weight of his health issues and decided to drop the royal act for a minute during a small palace event. He supposedly went as far as almost hitting a knee to show respect for her new honors. It was a massive break from the usual stiff upper lip routine, showing everyone that the old rules might finally be crumbling under the pressure of reality. On St. George's Day in 2024, the king had already broken precedent when he named Catherine to the Order of the Companions of Honor, according to a report from Today. She became the first member of the royal family ever appointed to the order, joining a list that includes Paul McCartney, Elton John, and Sir David Attenborough. The honor, founded by King George V in 1917, recognizes outstanding achievements in arts, science, medicine, and public service. And Catherine had been chosen for it during the very months she was undergoing preventative cancer treatment. That gesture alone, royal watchers said at the time, was extraordinary. But the alleged 2026 moment, the one fans are now calling the kneel, reportedly went far beyond a ceremonial appointment. Sources claim Charles privately told Catherine that she was, in his eyes, the heart of the British monarchy's future. He allegedly told her she had carried the family through its darkest year, while Camilla recovered from illness and Harry remained estranged in California. He reportedly thanked her, in deeply personal language, for what she had done while privately battling cancer of her own. Then, the king did something no other leader has done in modern times. He leaned way down, bowed his head, and stayed like that for a few seconds. People can't agree if it was a full kneel or just a deep bow, but everyone agrees it was a massive deal. He was honoring Catherine in a way a Princess of Wales has never been honored before. Some historians are even comparing it to the way people used to show respect to Queen Elizabeth. It was basically a huge public thank you and a sign that she is the one who actually matters now. It's funny how a grown man leaning over for 5 seconds is considered a historic moment. It really shows you how low the bar is for entertainment in that family when bowing is the most exciting thing to happen in a century. For Catherine, the moment was reportedly overwhelming. Sources close to her allegedly said she did not know how to respond. Her own father-in-law, the King of the United Kingdom, was bowing to her in private. The future queen consort, allegedly, was being told without words that the institution now belonged, in spirit, to her. And the woman watching all of this unfold from a separate room, allegedly, was Camilla. Camilla's reaction behind closed doors. The word is that Camilla was nowhere to be found when the king took a knee. She was stuck at home again, still dealing with that nagging cough from 2024. But in a place like the palace, secrets have a shelf life of about 5 seconds. The news reached her fast, and apparently it hit her harder than any medical update ever could. Her staff said she looked completely shaken. The word from inside Clarence's house is that Camilla basically went into hiding. She stopped showing up to her smaller gigs and started acting like a different person. She even told her inner circle that she finally gets it. The family is moving on, and she's not part of the plan. She always knew Catherine was the golden child, but seeing the king actually bow to her made it impossible to deny. The message wasn't just sent, it was delivered with a sledgehammer. Royal commentators reportedly debated whether Camilla had any real grounds to be hurt. Catherine, after all, is the future queen consort. Her elevation has been expected for over a decade. But timing, allegedly, is everything inside the British monarchy. And the timing of the kneel, reportedly coinciding with Princess Anne's protocol moment, with Camilla's repeated illnesses, and with William and Catherine's January 2026 announcement that they would be assuming the role of grantors of royal warrants in spring 2026, allegedly told a single coherent story. According to E! News' December 2025 report on the new royal warrant roll, Catherine will become the first Princess of Wales in 116 years to grant royal warrants. Even Princess Diana never held the role. The last Princess of Wales to do so was Queen Mary before 1910. The announcement on its own was a generational milestone. But layered alongside the kneel and the Anne incident, it reportedly read as a coordinated, deliberate elevation of Catherine over Camilla in the public consciousness. Camilla, allegedly, understood exactly what was happening. The institution, reportedly, was choosing its future. And she was, slowly but unmistakably, no longer at its center. Aides close to her allegedly told a small circle of journalists that the Queen had long suspected this day would come. She had reportedly prepared herself for it intellectually for years. But emotionally, allegedly, no preparation could soften the blow of watching Catherine receive the kind of public reverence Camilla had spent her entire adult life trying to earn. The contrast, sources claim, was almost cruel in its clarity. One woman fought for decades to be accepted by the British public. The other, allegedly, was being celebrated almost from the moment she joined the family. If that was true, then Anne's move was not just about etiquette or personal tension. It was a signal that the next chapter had already begun. And if the future was quietly being arranged in front of everyone, who was really still in charge? Why Princess Anne allegedly made the move now? The question royal historians keep asking is why now? Why, after years of cordial public unity, did Princess Anne allegedly choose this exact moment to publicly remind Camilla of her place and quietly elevate Catherine into the spiritual center of the family? The answer, reportedly, has everything to do with Charles's health and the silent panic inside the royal household over what comes next. King Charles has been dealing with cancer since the start of 2024. The palace won't give out any real details, but people close to the family say he's struggling. His energy is all over the place, and he can't really focus on long-term plans anymore. Because of that, Anne stepped up. She wasn't trying to fight Charles for his job. She was just trying to keep the whole system from falling apart. Her main goal was to protect the crown and make sure everything is ready for when William and Catherine eventually take over. It's a bit grim that the monarchy's backup plan is just hope the sister has enough coffee to do 2 jobs at once. Anne is basically the person at the office who does all the work while the CEO is on a permanent lunch break. In this whole mess, Camilla just became a problem that needed solving. It wasn't necessarily out of spite. The reality is that the monarchy never knows what to do with a queen consort once the king is out of the picture. Usually, they just disappear from the spotlight the second a new person takes the throne. Anne knows this better than anyone else. By making Camilla look a bit foolish over those protocol rules in public, she was basically starting the process of getting the country and the family ready for the inevitable. Catherine, on the other hand, is the future. William will be king. Catherine will be queen consort. Their 3 children will carry the line forward. The investment in their public image, allegedly, has accelerated dramatically since Charles's diagnosis. The royal warrants roll, the companions of honor appointment, the rare cancer revelation that drew global sympathy in 2024, and now, reportedly, the alleged KNEEL all paint a picture of a monarchy preparing for generational change earlier than expected. Royal commentators have called Anne's behavior, allegedly, the steadiest hand inside the family. Camilla, reportedly, has been described as fragile. Charles, allegedly, has been described as exhausted. Catherine, reportedly, has been described as the one figure capable of holding the institution together when the next reign begins. And Anne, allegedly, has positioned herself as the silent architect of that transition. Insiders allegedly say she has been working closely with William behind the scenes for years, mentoring him on the details of statecraft, ceremonial duty, and the precise ways the monarchy bends without breaking. That mentorship, sources reportedly claim, is the real reason William feels confident enough to begin assuming greater public responsibilities now, rather than waiting until his father is gone. And the way the public is reacting, allegedly, suggests her plan is working perfectly. What the public reaction reveals about the future. In the days following the alleged KNEEL, royal social media platforms reportedly lit up with theories, leaks, and emotional reactions. Some viewers were thrilled. They saw Catherine's elevation as long overdue and a sign that the monarchy was finally embracing its future. Others were uneasy, They allegedly worried that Camilla, who had spent decades earning her place inside the family, was being quietly discarded the moment she became inconvenient. The reactions reportedly split along generational lines. Older royalists allegedly defended Camilla, calling her dignified, loyal, and a steadying presence beside Charles during the most difficult chapter of his reign. Younger royalists, reportedly, were drawn to Catherine. They saw her as relatable, modern, and resilient, especially after her courageous public handling of her own cancer diagnosis. The two camps, allegedly, were not just debating personalities. They were debating what kind of monarchy Britain wants in the next decade: tradition or transition. Royal experts have reportedly told outlets like the Royal Observer that the speed at which William and Catherine are being granted new responsibilities is unprecedented. Author Elizabeth Holmes, cited in the report, allegedly said the princess will make royal traditions feel relevant and fresh to a new generation of royal watchers. That description, allegedly, captures exactly why the alleged kneel resonated so deeply. It signaled that the older guard was making room, and that the younger generation was, finally, being trusted to lead. As for Anne, reportedly, the public response has been overwhelmingly admiring. She has emerged from this chapter, allegedly, as the most respected figure inside the royal family. Even commentators who initially viewed her protocol moment with Camilla as cold or unnecessary now reportedly see it as the action of a woman who refused to let the institution drift. Anne allegedly did the dirty work. She protected the next generation, and she set the stage for what is shaping up to be the most dramatic royal transition since 1952. Camilla, for her part, has reportedly been seen at fewer engagements in early 2026. Charles, allegedly, has been pacing himself with shorter appearances. William and Catherine, reportedly, are being given new platforms almost monthly. And Anne, the architect, allegedly, continues to do what she has always done. She works, she watches, and she protects the crown. What makes this entire chapter so historically significant, royal historians say, is how it parallels and diverges from the fall of Diana, the late Princess of Wales. Diana, allegedly, was crushed by an institution that did not know how to elevate her without threatening the existing order. Catherine, reportedly, is being lifted up by an institution that has finally learned how to do it. The difference, allegedly, is Anne. Where there was no one to advocate for Diana inside the family during her most isolating years, Catherine reportedly has both Anne and Charles personally invested in her elevation. The result, royal commentators say, is the most stable and confident Princess of Wales the monarchy has had in over a century. So after Anne's bold protocol move, Charles's emotional gesture, and Catherine's quiet elevation, is this the start of a new royal era or the cruel ending of Camilla's long climb to the top? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.